Welcome back, champions. Today we find ourselves at the threshold of an exploration into the art of letting go, uncovering the ancient Stoic secrets to achieving true happiness. Together, we'll uncover how the wisdom of the Stoics can guide us toward living a fulfilling and joyful life, even when faced with life's inevitable challenges. The principles we'll delve into today have stood the test of time, offering us a timeless path to inner peace and contentment. To truly grasp the essence of Stoicism, we must understand that it is not just a philosophy, but a way of life, a discipline of the mind and soul that teaches us to embrace what we cannot control and to focus on what we can. As we move forward, we'll engage with the teachings of the great Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, whose words continue to guide those in search of a life rich with meaning and purpose. Stoicism teaches that the key to true happiness lies not in the external world, but within ourselves. It's about mastering the art of letting go, of desires, fears, and attachments that bind us to suffering. It's about cultivating a mindset that allows us to remain calm and resilient in the face of life's storms. As Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple yet powerful truth forms the foundation of Stoic thought, and it is upon this foundation that we will build our understanding of true happiness. The Stoics understood that much of what happens in life is beyond our control. They believed that the only things we truly have control over are our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. Everything else, whether it be the actions of others, the outcome of events, or even our own bodies, is subject to forces beyond our control. This realization can be both liberating and intimidating. On one hand, it frees us from the burden of trying to control the uncontrollable. On the other hand, it forces us to confront the reality that we are not the masters of our own fate. However, the Stoics teach us that by focusing on what we can control, our own thoughts and actions, we can find a sense of peace and contentment, regardless of the circumstances we face. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, often reflected on the importance of accepting the things we cannot change. In his meditations, he reminds us to accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. This is not a call to passivity, but rather an invitation to engage with life fully while recognizing the limits of our control. Stoicism teaches us that our perception of events is far more important than the events themselves. This is because our thoughts and beliefs shape our reality. As Epictetus famously said, "People are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them." In other words, it is not the events themselves that cause us distress, but rather our interpretation of those events. This principle is at the core of Stoic practice. By training our minds to perceive events in a rational and detached manner, we can maintain our inner peace even in the face of adversity. This does not mean suppressing our emotions, but rather understanding them and choosing how we respond to them. As we cultivate this discipline, we begin to see that many of the things that once caused us pain and suffering are, in fact, neutral events, neither good nor bad in themselves. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, wrote extensively about the importance of controlling our perceptions. In his letters to Lucilius, he advises, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This insight reminds us that much of our suffering is self-inflicted, a product of our own minds. By changing our perception, we can free ourselves from the chains of unnecessary suffering and embrace a life of tranquility. At the heart of Stoicism is the practice of letting go, of releasing our attachments to things, people, and outcomes that are beyond our control. The Stoics believed that attachment is the root of suffering because it ties our happiness to external circumstances. When we become attached to something, we invest a part of ourselves in it. And when that thing is taken away or changes, we feel a sense of loss. This does not mean that we should avoid relationships or material possessions, but rather that we should engage with them in a way that does not compromise our inner peace. The Stoics encourage us to enjoy what we have while it is in our possession, but to be ready to let it go without resistance when the time comes. As Seneca wisely stated, "He who is overly attached to a thing will grieve more bitterly when he loses it." To practice this detachment, we must cultivate an attitude of gratitude and impermanence. We must learn to appreciate the present moment without clinging to it, recognizing that everything in life is temporary. This mindset allows us to experience joy without fear of loss, and to face the inevitable changes in life with equanimity. One of the most challenging aspects of Stoicism is the idea that adversity is not something to be avoided, but rather embraced. The Stoics believe that adversity is an essential part of life, and that it provides us with the opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This quote captures the Stoic belief that obstacles are not just challenges to be overcome, but opportunities for growth. When we encounter adversity, we have a choice. We can either allow it to defeat us, or we can use it as a stepping stone to become better versions of ourselves. The Stoics teach us to view adversity as a test of our character, a chance to prove our resilience and fortitude. By embracing adversity, we can transform it from a source of suffering into a source of strength. This mindset is not about seeking out pain or hardship, but rather about accepting it when it comes and using it as a tool for self-improvement. As Epictetus reminds us, difficulties are things that show a person what they are. Through adversity, we discover our true potential and develop the qualities that lead to a fulfilling and joyful life. For the Stoics, true happiness is not found in wealth, power, or pleasure, but in living a life of virtue. Virtue, in the Stoic sense, refers to excellence of character, the qualities of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. The Stoics believe that these virtues are the foundation of a good life, and that by cultivating them, we can achieve true happiness. Wisdom, the first and most important virtue, is the ability to discern what is truly valuable in life and to make decisions that align with that understanding. Courage is the strength to face challenges and adversity with bravery and resolve. Justice is the commitment to treat others with fairness and respect and to act in a way that promotes the common good. Temperance is the practice of self-control and moderation, avoiding excess and maintaining balance in all aspects of life. By living according to these virtues, the Stoics believe that we can attain a state of inner peace and fulfillment that is independent of external circumstances. This is because virtue is within our control, and it is through the pursuit of virtue that we find true happiness. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By cultivating virtuous thoughts and actions, we create a life that is rich in meaning and purpose. A unique aspect of Stoic practice is the technique of negative visualization, also known as premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This practice involves imagining the worst-case scenarios that could happen in life, not to dwell on them or to invite them, but to prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally for whatever may come. By contemplating the potential losses, setbacks, and challenges we may face, we can diminish their power over us. This practice helps us to build resilience and to appreciate the things we currently have, knowing that they are not guaranteed. It is a way of fortifying our minds against the uncertainties of life and cultivating a sense of gratitude for the present moment. Seneca encouraged this practice as a way to strengthen our resolve and reduce the impact of fear on our lives. He wrote, He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. By anticipating difficulties, we can approach them with calmness and clarity, rather than being overwhelmed by fear or anxiety when they arise. Death is a topic that the Stoics faced head-on, not with fear, but with acceptance. They viewed death as a natural part of life, something that should be neither feared nor avoided. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the impermanence of life, reminding himself that death is inevitable and that it is a part of the natural order. For the Stoics, the awareness of death was not a source of despair, but a motivation to live fully in the present moment. By acknowledging the brevity of life, we are inspired to make the most of the time we have, to live in accordance with our values, and to appreciate the beauty of each passing moment. As Epictetus advised, keep death and exile before your eyes each day, along with everything that seems terrible. By doing so, you'll never have a base thought, nor will you have excessive desire. This acceptance of death also extends to the loss of loved ones. The Stoics believed that while it is natural to grieve, we should also remember that death is a part of life, and that our loved ones, like everything else in this world, are temporary. By letting go of our attachments and accepting the impermanence of life, we can find peace, even in the face of loss. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the idea of living in harmony with nature. The Stoics believed that the universe is governed by a rational and orderly principle, which they called the logos. To live according to nature means to align our lives with this rational order, to accept the natural course of events, and to fulfill our role as rational beings. This concept is not about living a primitive or ascetic life, but about understanding our place in the world and living in a way that is true to our nature as human beings. It is about recognizing that we are part of a larger whole, and that our actions should contribute to the well-being of the community and the world around us. By living according to nature, we find a sense of purpose and meaning that transcends our individual desires and concerns. We become attuned to the rhythms of life and learn to accept the ebb and flow of fortune with grace and equanimity. This alignment with nature is the source of true happiness, as it allows us to live in accordance with our highest values and to find contentment in the present moment. As we bring our exploration of Stoicism to a close, we return to the central theme of this journey: the art of letting go. Letting go is not about giving up or resigning ourselves to fate, but about releasing our attachments to things, people, and outcomes that are beyond our control. It is about cultivating a mindset of acceptance and gratitude, of living fully in the present moment without clinging to the past or fearing the future. The Stoics teach us that by letting go, we free ourselves from the chains of desire and fear that bind us to suffering. We open ourselves to the possibility of true happiness, a happiness that is not dependent on external circumstances, but rooted in our own thoughts, actions, and character. In the words of Epictetus, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. By embracing the art of letting go, we achieve this freedom and discover the path to a fulfilling and joyful life. As we conclude this exploration of Stoic wisdom, I invite you to reflect on the principles we have discussed today. The art of letting go is not an easy path, but it is a path that leads to true happiness and inner peace. By embracing the Stoic teachings of control, perception, detachment, and virtue, we can live a life of meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. If you found value in today's discussion, I encourage you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you help us beat the algorithm and ensure that content like this continues to appear in your feed. And if you're eager to deepen your understanding of ancient wisdom and further develop your masculinity, I invite you to explore our other videos on the channel. Until next time, champions, stay strong and stay committed to your path.